We'll just do it the old-fashioned way, Timmy.
Yes, the old-fashioned way.
All right. We ready to go? I think I have the open around here somewhere. Let's do this. Share sound.
Now, the Wicked Fast Podcast.
Yeah.
With Lungboy and Timmy G.
Hey, this is Dale Jr.
Hey, this is Jeff Gordon.
Hey, this is William Byron.
Hey, this is Kyle Busch.
Hey, guys, this is Ross Chastain.
Hey, it's Ryan Blaney.
You're listening to the
Wicked Fast Podcast.
That was weird.
New England. Wicked Fast. Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Hello, this is the Wicked Fast Podcast.
Now, to anyone out there who wants to go fast, anybody.
I want to go fast.
Drivers, start your engines!
Yeah!
Woo! All right.
Yeah.
Wicked Fast Podcast.
Yeah.
Episode 282 coming at you. Brian Bell here.
Timmy G over here. Hello, everyone. How we doing?
There.
What's up? What's crack-a-lacking?
How we doing? You can always find us on the social medias, of course, at Wicked Fast PDCST on the X, formerly known as Twitter, and at Wicked Fast Podcast, pretty much everywhere else. Instagram, Facebook. We're putting this up on our Facebook Live, and of course, the Wicked Fast Podcast YouTube channel. Please subscribe, give it a like on YouTube as well, where we'll post these episodes. You can see our beautiful faces as well as listen to us talk about NASCAR every week. Thanks to our just do it. And thanks to our friends over at Big Night Media, all the fine family of Big Night Entertainment podcasts, including the former Banner Banter podcast, which I was glad to see a little post on Instagram about all the big moves.
Yeah, the podcast studio got a tour of it yesterday or 2 days ago. The Big Night Media podcast studio. It is going to be lovely.
Yeah, is that giving you the like, ooh, I really need to get back into the podcast game?
Nope. I'm just really hoping that we'll be able to maybe record like our season finale after Phoenix there.
Ooh, that would be
and kind of figure out what to do moving forward for season 9. But yeah, Big Night Media is doing some big things. Our head producer, Hurley,
I like Hurley.
He just got interviewed for at a website called Front of House Boston and talks about his experience at Big Night Media. So go check that out.
Nice. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Shout out to the squad.
All right. And then, of course, you can download, your WinBet app if you want to play some bets. We'll give you some odds later on in the show. That Corey LaJoy bet was looking pretty good for a little while there.
Nipples got hard a little bit there, and then it got cold real quick.
We'll cover all the action. My boy Blaney, as you can see in the background there, my boy Blaney with the W. Yep. That was nice. Mm-hmm. That was big. A playoff win. That's big. That's big.
I thought I heard something. He's made like the last 4 or 5 round of 8s.
It's pretty good. He's just
very impressive.
Yeah, for a guy who I'm just driving a race car and dating a Hooters girl. Whatever, man. I'm fine.
Yeah, whatever. What do you get, man?
But before we get into Talladega, we did have some big stuff broke this week, right? Should we talk about that first?
Well, the thing that broke probably about an hour ago, Haley Deegan decided to go on the Instagram and inform everyone that she will be in the Xfinity Series next year.
Oh,
full time, number 15, AM Racing Ford.
All right.
Ford has her locked up. She'll never drive for Chevy or Toyota, no matter what the situation is. And, she's been in the truck series this year. She's actually had some pretty good runs. She finished 8th at Talladega this past weekend, and she's always just been solid, and then that SRX series, she races against some of the best and won one of the heats or almost won. Yeah, she holds her own against some really good
Tony Stewart and Ryan Newman and all these guys.
It's very impressive what she's been doing. So it's
really
great. Cool. And you could 1000% say that. Yeah, I have no problem saying this. She is probably the most talented female driver the sport has ever had.
All right.
Because I think she's doing it the right way, right?
She's been racing since she was born, basically.
Yeah, but she's going through all the steps where Danica just kind of did Indy and then jumped right in. There was a little bit of a learning curve, but if she's going to be in Xfinity for the next couple of years, she can learn how the Cup teams
gonna
work
learn a
because
lot.
all the Cup. She's
Yeah.
going to learn a lot, and that's only going to make her a better race car driver whenever, or a Cup driver whenever she moves up. Which I mean, at this point, will probably be 2027, maybe 2026. But and she'll still only be what 23 at that point. I don't even know how
God.
old is she. I don't even know
That
how
just
old
makes
she
me
is.
feel old.
I'm looking it up right now. See how old
Okay.
she is. She's currently 22. So you figure
Okay.
she'll be 23 in July. So you figure by the time she's in the Cup Series, she's going to be like 25 years old.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like a very good time. And that's what most of the drivers are doing, unless, you're lucky, like someone like a Chase Elliott or Ty Gibbs, or unless
Right.
you're like that level of talented,
Yeah. Nice. Well, good for her. That's awesome.
Yeah, very
Love
cool.
to see it. Love to see
But
it.
the big breaking news was the schedule came out yesterday, later than usual,
Yeah.
but a lot of
They're
obstacles.
still tweaking a few things.
A lot of obstacles had to be overcome because of the Olympics. NBC, USA, the Olympics, 2 weeks off. So NASCAR literally will not be racing after the Brickyard 400 on July 21st. They will not race again until Richmond on August 11th.
Wow.
Because
That's going to feel like forever for those guys.
Yeah. So instead of having like 1 week off here and then another week off here,
It's like,
it's
boom,
just going to be,
here's your
I
break.
mean, they're going to be racing for like 21 weeks straight
Wow.
after the Daytona 500.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, most of the regulars are there, start off at the Coliseum. A couple weeks later, we'll do the Daytona 500 on February 18th.
Yep.
Las Vegas has 2 races again. Just stupid.
I mean, come on. Yeah.
Nah, I get it. Sponsored. Blah. Vomit. Boring race. But Loudon
Yeah.
is in June.
Moved up.
It's literally, this is for the local people. If you're not local, we apologize. But thanks for listening. The bike week. So now you can go up Saturday to that following Sunday. That Saturday and Sunday is bike week.
Oh, God.
So
Really?
And Loudon's
That's
like,
going to be crazy up there.
but Loudon's like a big place for bike week.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to figure that out, because someone like myself going up on the hill on Saturday to get my spot, I don't want to be delayed because of the bikers. No offense to them,
Yeah. Get out of my way. I got
but I need my spot. I have a hammer and I have my pegs and my rope. I need to put those into the ground. I need to
That's right.
drive 90 minutes. So I'm up there for 5 minutes. I need to do that.
Yeah. Because I know they have those races and stuff up there. And
So
they
yeah,
use
so-
that whole road. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So Loudon will be June 23rd. And then the week before that, on June 16th, a new track has been added to the mix. They're going to Iowa.
Really? Okay. Well, I know Xfinity's gone there.
Yeah. And
They've been racing there for a while.
Iowa
now.
was always the weekend of Loudon, because if the Xfinity guys weren't there, the truck guys weren't there, you could walk by people's trailers and see all of them at Iowa.
Yeah.
So that's, obviously very cool and great. And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
The regular season finale is no longer at Daytona.
Okay.
It will be at Darlington.
I'm all right with that.
Well, that
And then-
also means Darlington is out of the playoffs.
Ooh. Okay. So the second Darlington is. Ooh,
Correct.
That is interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it goes Daytona, Atlanta, Vegas, Phoenix, Bristol. Coda's still in the mix. The All-Star race will be at North Wilkesboro, like we mentioned last week. They're going to go to the Worldwide Technology Raceway. They're going to do the Chicago Street Race again. The week of 4th of July, they're going back to Nashville. But then the playoffs change, but just the
Okay.
first round. So the
Okay.
first round is going to be Atlanta, Watkins Glen, and Bristol.
Huh.
So next year, there's actually going to be 2 road races in the playoffs.
Interesting. Okay. And it's like, and really,
But this
year,
also-
the
this
first
also
round
means
this year was kind of those short tracks.
Correct. And that also
That's
means there's
definitely-
technically 2 super speedway tracks in the playoffs, because Atlanta is now that super speedway. That's kind of what they
Yeah.
flipped it up. But the second round will still be your Kansas, your Dega, your Roval. There were hot and heavy rumors going around, including Dale Jr. even said something that he doesn't think the Roval's coming back. And
Really?
the Roval came back.
Yeah.
And then the final round will be Vegas. Oh my God, Tim. Homestead, Martinsville, and then Phoenix at the end of the year. I think Phoenix is a great place for the end of the year.
Yeah. Yep.
So those are really, the changes, but there's going to be a good 20 plus days of no NASCAR. Yeah. When they come back from the
plan your
break,
vacation in there.
right?
Yeah, it'll be good.
When they come back from the break, it will be Richmond, Michigan, Daytona, Darlington, playoffs.
Really gear up for a finish of the regular season there, huh?
Yeah, like old school short track, a fast track, a super speedway, and then Darlington, which is just hell for the drivers, the cars, the teams, all of it.
Yeah. Wow. All right.
So yeah, I
There we
like
go.
the schedule. I think it's, I obviously don't like 2 weeks of no NASCAR during arguably one of the slowest parts of the
But
sports
we'll have the
season.
Olympics.
I'm not an Olympic guy. Unless
Don't you love America?
I do love America. I don't care about
I
the-
love weird sports.
yeah, like
I love
Winter
the-
Olympics. I will watch
Winter
curling
Olympics
forever.
has some of the weirdest.
Yeah.
But like I like some of. Are there any? I wonder if there's any good new sports going into the Summer Olympics.
I will
Rugby
say I watch.
sevens is rugby sevens in the Olympics because
I don't
that
know.
I could
When do you
watch
think-
that all day.
When do you
Have you
think
ever watched
pickle-
rugby sevens?
No, I have never heard of that before in my life.
You should. A game lasts like 5 minutes and it's insane.
Okay.
It's insane. Look it up. I'm telling
All
you.
right.
It's so much fun.
When do you think pickleball will be in the Olympics?
Oh, next time around.
Like 2028?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt. They have a huge lobby. A lot of
I remember-
people with a lot of
I
time on
remember
their
right
hands that
bef-
like pickleball.
I remember right before the pandemic, the 2 years before the pandemic, I was like watching it because I couldn't sleep one night. And I just said to myself, why have I been watching power walking for the last 15 minutes? Like it's just got this crazy
Just to
stuff.
see if one of the greatest collapses of all time happens again. That power walker who crashed.
Oh, yeah.
It was a mess. Oh,
Yeah. That was a
really,
shitty situation.
really something. Yes, it was. Anyway,
And speaking of shitty situations,
Yeah.
let's talk about Talladega because the second place finisher behind Ryan Blaney had not the best of days. So obviously Ryan Blaney won the race. He was 11 points under the cut line, which was huge, especially after that wreck that he had at Texas because he was part of that wreck towards the end of the race. He gets his third win at Talladega, and now he's into the round of 8 for, I'm telling you, I think it's like 4 or 5 straight years or 4 out of 5 years. It was something like that. Rick Allen said something like that. Or maybe it was Marty Snyder when he was interviewing Ryan Blaney.
yeah,
And like as a sponsor, you got to love Ryan Blaney. Like
he's great.
he just gets it, right?
Yep.
He says what he's got to say, make sure that you're mentioned, mentions the fans, and just moves on. Like it's perfect. But the guy who he beat by a couple hundredths of a second,
All of his finishes at Talladega, he's won there 3 times now. All of his finishes have been like,
under half a second,
under half a second. Yeah.
if not a quarter of a second.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's absolutely insane.
His
it's
margin of victory at Talladega, even with all 3 of them, I think all 3 are under a second.
You could argue he is probably the best super speedway driver that we have in the sport. You could argue.
Right. Yeah. I like when you come around and argue for my guys.
Oh, listen, I will say Dale Jr. could see air really well, better than the rest of them. But that was about it.
You son of a-
But
it was a thing. The Earnhardt could see air. I mean, what are you going to do?
But that's the thing. Like
It was their superpower.
listening to Dale Jr. talk about guys driving in the second lane at a super speedway is fascinating.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinating. Like
It was really cool when those guys were trying to having him explain how to form that third lane.
Yeah.
And how then all of a sudden the third lane pops in because somebody got stuck in the middle.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, who's going to go with them and all of a sudden there's a third lane. It was very interesting.
It was no, he's
Some good racing.
like I said, he's very, very good in the booth. But the individual that Kevin Harvick beat, that Ryan Blaney beat, was Kevin Harvick. And you're like,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was rooting for Kevin Harvick. Can you imagine if Kevin Harvick? Hey, what race did you win at the last one at the end of the year? Oh yeah, the Geico 500. You won at Talladega? Like you didn't win at Phoenix or Michigan?
Yeah, right.
You won at Talladega, and then he got disqualified and came in last place for the first time at Talladega ever. And I'm 99% sure, because I did start going through some of our teams. I don't think anyone.
I did the same thing. No one had Harvick.
No one had.
I'm like, all
I
right.
love us. I love us.
I went through every team to see, all right, who had Harvick?
Because I was hoping Jackson, because I believe Jackson won this week. I was like,
know.
Did Jackson have Kevin Harvick? That would have been.
It was the first thing I did when I saw the news.
We're such competitive asshats.
I'm like, ooh, did I?
Kevin Harvick got disqualified. He
Let's
won't care. He's retired
fantasy.
soon. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, Kevin Harvick. Wow, that was a hot mic. Kevin Harvick got DQ'd. He had his windshield was not assembled properly.
Yeah, something about windshield,
and
something or others.
Stuart Haas is not appealing it, but Rodney Childress is like, it was good. Like it was good. So it's very interesting that Stuart Haas is like, we're not even gonna bother, and Rodney Childress is like, bother.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, Kevin Harvick's first ever. You figure 20 years, 2 times a year. So let's say he's done it at least 40 times.
Yep.
It's first time ever finishing at last place at Talladega, all because of a windshield violation.
Well, good. It's nice to check that off the list before you retire. There we go. Off that bucket list. Finished last at Talladega. Whew, done it.
Thank you. He doesn't even do the last 5 races of the year. He's like, oh, all I wanted, last place at Talladega forever.
Yep. I'm done.
But there is someone who is getting up there in age, like Kevin Harvick, that made a little bit of a boo-boo. Brad Kay, one of the most aggressive, by like a long shot, aggressive super speedway guys.
Yep.
Might have screwed himself out of the round of 8. I forget who he got very loose or got under. I want to say it was Austin Dillon, but I also don't. I forget who it was. But he got collected and finished 22nd. And now he's only 2 points up. And that could screw him over.
Yeah, that's not good.
And he was up front for some of the race. Like he's a very strong, those Fords, very strong. Very strong. But yeah, just Brad Kay could get screwed because of his super speedway aggression. Yeah.
And I like Riley Herbst actually had a good run. There were some times when he was pushing people that got a little squirrely, but
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Blaney credited him at the end of the race.
Yep.
And I believe, speaking about looking at people's lineups to see if anyone had Kevin Harvick, I think NASCAR guy had Riley in his lineup.
Well, he qualified well. Yeah. Herbst.
Yeah, he qualified well. Yeah. But the other thing we have to talk about before we move on. Yeah. Did anyone see the fight between Matt Crafton and Nick Sanchez?
Yes. It was all over my Instagram.
You can take your housewives fights and shove them, because that was a fight of fights. That was a grown ass man against a child.
I know, like Matt Crafton's like my age, isn't he? My God.
Yeah. And then Nick Sanchez is like 22. It was weight. He had the weight, the reach, the experience, like the toughness. It was crazy. Nick Sanchez got banged up. That was crazy though. Like, we've seen people fight, we've seen the Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano fights, you know, what was it? Clint Boyer sprinting after Jeff Gordon. We've seen all those, but that was something you see at Boston outside of the Cask and Flagon at 2:30 in the morning. Like, that was crazy. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yep. And I love how it's just all of a sudden it's on all the NASCAR socials. It's like, oh, fight, let's go.
Fight. Yep. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, especially, you know, when you think about it, like there really wasn't like some of those big wrecks. I mean, Brad Kay was saved in his wreck. I mean, his car tilted and those air flaps brought it back down. Like that was crazy how well those
I was waiting for one of those last couple laps. I mean, man, they were, especially when they had the 3 lanes going, it was nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy, but it also just shows how, you know, they're getting used to these next gen cars and they maybe can control themselves better, knowing, okay, as long as they're not in my left rear, I'm good. Like I can be.
I feel like the pushing was pretty stable. Like I feel like because the last car, it feels like they couldn't push it all, or like if you weren't, you know, a Ford couldn't push a Chevy because they wouldn't quite match up the same way. Like, so I feel like they're doing a pretty good job.
You remember a few years ago how like the front ends of the Chevys they were like
pointy.
Push better. Yeah, they were pointy or something like that. Yeah. But I also feel like drivers can expect these runs now, you know, because you can see a car get 7-8 car lengths up and then they're like, well, here they come. And now they can brace for that impact when the line, you know, the bottom or top line actually catches up to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because and Bowman had a pretty good run going for a little while too. He was out front.
I'm glad you mentioned Alex Bowman because we're going to talk about him a lot when we talk about the next upcoming race. And I was very surprised about that. But Bowman did have a very good run.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't. Where did he finish?
Alex Bowman finished in the 28th position.
Okay, he was up front for a little bit.
He was up there.
It was good to see.
There was one point. I think there was like 25 laps left. The bottom row was all Chevys, like the first 8 cars.
Well, and all the Hendrick cars were up there too.
It was Hendrick.
It was
Daniel Suarez, and There was another one. It was Hendrick, Daniel Suarez, Austin Dillon was gone. Kyle Busch was in that mix, and there was another Chevy. Was it? Oh, it was Corey LaJoie who was in that mix. So, all right. Well, let's move on.
It was fun.
I mean, it's always fun at those super speedways. As dangerous as they are, they're fun.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about the standings and possible clinching scenarios because this is the final round of the final race of the round of 12. Only 8 can advance. So we know William Byron and Ryan Blaney, the last 2 winners, they're moving on. So there's only 6 spots left. Denny Hamlin is plus 50. I think he does 1 lap. He's in.
Yeah.
Christopher Bell plus 22, Chris Buescher plus 19, Martin Truex Jr. plus 17, Kyle Larson plus 15, and then Brad Kay's at 8 spot at plus 2. Tyler Reddick is
he's teetering.
Yep. Kyle Reddick is behind him at -2. Can you imagine if Bubba Wallace got more stage points at Texas? Because he's currently -9. I'm telling you, it's going to screw him. Ross Chastain at -9, and then Kyle Busch at -26. So here are some of the clinching scenarios. Christopher Bell can clinch if he scores 36 points, no matter what anyone else does. So, Brad Kay, Bubba Wallace could win, and as long as Christopher Bell gets 36 points, he's got it. Chris Buescher needs 39. Martin Truex Jr. is in a tricky spot because he needs 41 points to clinch. And so far in these playoffs, these are the amount of points he's gotten. 19, 1, 20, 20, 19.
Ooh, that doesn't sound like 40.
No, you would literally have to combine
run 2 races.
his second race, third race, and fourth race. All of those combined are 41.
Yeah.
Kyle Larson needs a strong finish, especially with there being a tiebreaker, and I'll explain that in a second. Kyle Larson needs just a strong run. Like, he probably needs more points than Martin Truex Jr., but you trust Kyle Larson on a road course, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the better guys. Brad Kay has to score 10 more points than Bubba and 3 more points than Tyler Reddick due to tiebreakers. So the tiebreaker is, so let's say Bubba Wallace and Brad Kay have the same amount of points for the 8th spot. It's whoever has the better finish in that specific round in any race.
Really?
So Bubba's already finished better than Brad Kay at Texas.
Yeah.
Finished better than Brad Kay at Talladega.
Yeah.
And so unless they tie and Brad Kay comes in second, then Bubba's moving on, as an example.
Okay.
So crazy. Tyler Reddick is good on road courses. So, just be Tyler Reddick and he's got a shot to pass Brad Kay. Bubba is not. He did finish 7th at the Roval last year. But like I said, those stage points could screw him. And then Ross Chastain.
It's crazy that his crew chief didn't play it differently. It really is.
If Bubba Wallace,
that's a coaching question right there. Like it's just,
if Bubba Wallace got 12 more points than he did right now, Brad K would be the 8th seed. I mean, Bubba would be the 8th seed, and Brad K would be 3 points out, and Bubba's teammate Tyler would be 5 points out. Like it's just crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And then we got Ross Chastain and Kyle Busch. Both of them are in win to get in situations.
Yeesh.
Yeah, not a great playoffs for.
No, neither of them
Busch
have really been performing up to their normal standards.
You
either.
could argue in the round of 12, the 3 worst performers so far in these playoffs are probably Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr. based on expectations.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let's go to the Roval. We all love the Roval.
Do you want to hit fantasy? Hang on.
Oh, yeah. Fantasy. Sorry.
Come on. Let's hit some fantasy.
Sorry.
Let me pull up the.
Just so pissed no one in front of me had Kevin Harvick.
Let me pull up our. Where do I have it? Oops, hang on. Fantasy. Here we go. All right. So there you go. Jackson left turns for days.
Whoa, what happened?
Oh, where'd it go?
Yeah. It's so weird.
Hang on. I gotta find my screen again.
Technical difficulties.
Oh, there it is. Okay. There it is. Have the right screen up. That would help. There we go. There you go. Left turns for days. Left turns for days.
Like
I
figured fan 1 for
173.
sure would have it.
Yep.
Kevin Harvick.
There you are, your 4th. Well,
Yep.
even where is he? Even Harvick fan didn't have Harvick.
I thought that was a guarantee.
I thought that was a lock.
Wait a second.
Dang.
Oh,
What?
okay. No, sorry. I thought I saw something. One thing I'm very proud about.
Yeah.
I'm 90% sure that my lineup had 4 non-playoff drivers in it.
We can look. I did notice, however, Bubba Boucher, in trying to steal my name, points in the garage, left, I believe, like 52 points in the garage, which would have been enough for the win.
Mm-hmm.
Bubba Boucher. Sorry about that. So right now,
she's embarrassed.
the playoff standings.
Oh,
ladies night race up top.
I am on the way.
You are second, double chump. We're both gaining ground on him. I'm right behind him now. Dewey Riders driving school. There we go. So, all right. The playoffs have been a different story for everybody. 'Cause if we go to overall, left turns for days, NASCAR guy, double chump. They're all up front.
Coming for that. I'm coming for that podium.
That's right. So there you go. There's some quick take on the fantasy. Although I did. What did you want to know? Who Nate had?
No.
Okay.
All good.
But yeah, good job everybody in the fantasy
Yeah.
team. So there we go. And we'll get into
And remember,
it
you
now.
can use those drivers 5 times, and there's 5 races left.
I
So-
used all new guys. I had new last week and this week. I used guys I hadn't used before. So
Love that.
Yeah.
All right.
didn't really
Bank.
work out well, but it was all right.
I mean, still a solid finish. You figured
all right.
finish better than double chump.
Yep, this is true. This is true. This is
Right?
true, even on a bad week. So that was good.
All right. Bank of America Roval 400 at Charlotte Motor Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina on NBC at 2:30 on Sunday.
All right.
Practice and qualifying will be on USA on Saturday afternoon, starting at 12:30. Why did my screen just go
Just
black?
before Law and Order SVU. Or
Why did
whatever.
my screen just go black?
I don't know. What'd you do? Oh, there it is.
Okay.
I get you back.
All right. So last year, Christopher Bell won his way into the next round because of this race.
Yeah.
At the time, only 2 playoff drivers were actually finished in the top 10.
Wow.
So that was interesting.
Yeah.
Now, here are the drivers that were not in the playoffs last year. Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, the Dinger, Justin Haley, Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, and Austin Dillon. The 2 playoff drivers that finished in the top 10 were Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe.
Wow.
Right? But when you think about it, Bubba, needs a good run. Tyler Reddick needs a good run. If Chris Buescher runs the way he just did, or last year, he's fine. On to the round of 8 you go.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch, you came in third, bud, but you're going to move on to the next round. So for this playoff run, if Kyle Busch finishing third, he would need to get 34 points, or he got 34 points last year, which means everyone in front of him, that includes Chastain, Brad Kay, Bubba, and Tyler Reddick, would have to get 8 points or less. All of them.
That seems unlikely.
Yeah, not great, Bob.
Unless they're all in a wreck on the first lap.
Yeah. So obviously, Chris Buescher with the top 6 finish last year, he only got 31 points, but he needs to get 39 to clinch.
Okay.
So, Bubba Wallace got 30 points, and that may be enough. But, oh, wait, the person who finished directly behind him, Tyler Reddick, because of stage points, got 37 points.
Oh, look at Tyler Reddick's team looking out for the stage points.
Exactly. And then the people who won the stages,
the theme. Yeah.
Joey Logano and Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain wouldn't mind 10 points.
Nope.
Because he's only 10 points up. All right. This is the 5th race at the Roval. So I'm going to do the last 5 road
is it really
courses.
already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. So I'm going to do the 5 races at the Roval for fantasy, and then the 5 road courses, or the last 5 road courses that we've done overall.
Okay. I like what you're going with here. All right.
Okay. So here we go. The Roval. Your winners. Ryan Blaney won the first ever. Then Chase went back-to-back. Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell.
Yep.
Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, William Byron, and Kevin Harvick are top 5 in fantasy points.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third name that I mentioned, keep an eye on it. It's very interesting. Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, and Chase Elliott have 2 top 5 each. Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, and Joey Logano have finished in the top 10 4 out of the 5 times here at the Roval.
Huh.
Your best average finish here at the Roval, Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, and Ryan Blaney, all 5 of those drivers have finished in the top 10 on average in all 5 of these races.
Okay.
Last 5 road course races, your winners, Michael McDowell, Tyler Reddick, Martin Truex Jr., William Byron, and SVG. Remember the Chicago road course. He will not be racing this weekend. Michael McDowell, William Byron, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and Tyler Reddick. Those are your top 5 in the last 5 road courses that we've done in the next gen car for fantasy. Chase Elliott has raced in 4 out of the last 5. Obviously, he missed one due to his injury. Him and Kyle Busch are tied with 3 top 5s each.
So he's 3 out of 4.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, and William Byron have 2 top 5s each.
Bowman keeps popping up there, doesn't he?
Which was shocking to me. I literally hit refresh.
That can't be right.
We've met Alex Bowman. Remember that time Alex Bowman met Sam, just real quick, unbelievably kind and nice. He's awesome. But I literally had to refresh the page when we were talking about the Roval. I just don't ever remember talking about Alex Bowman, A, the road course guy, or B, the Roval guy. But here we go. Yep. Most top 5 finishes. Chris Buescher has 4 top 10 finishes, followed by 9 drivers who have 3 top 10 finishes. The playoff drivers, Kyle Busch, Larson, Reddick, and MTJ. Okay. Non-playoff drivers, Logano, McDowell, Chase Elliott, and Ty Gibbs.
Okay.
There are only 2 drivers in the playoffs that have an average finish of top 10 finishes this season on road courses. Chris Buescher and William Byron, which is why William Byron is the favorite to win the whole damn thing.
Yep.
Your worst is Bubba Wallace at 23 as an average finish. That's not going to happen. And Brad Kay at 22. And that will make, if he finishes 22nd,
bye-bye.
See you later. Go cheer on for your car that you own in Chris Buescher. So, yeah, very surprising, because I'm going to go out on a limb and say a lot of people haven't used Alex Bowman this year.
This is true.
It's just been an off year. Obviously, he was out for a while with his surgery and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, he never really came back well from that.
And then one other thing that we always talk about, or at least that I've always been talking about.
Yeah.
Where did it go?
You want your matchups? I got your matchups for fantasy too.
The owner standings.
Oh yeah.
Because that's very important. Because of Chase Elliott's finish and how bad everyone else was doing, Chase Elliott went from 8th to 4th. And there's a possibility, if it stays this way, there's a possibility that Hendrick could have 2 cars in the final 4 for the owners. Because if Chase Elliott wins that race, great, he wins the race. Plus, Mr. Hendrick gets an owner's championship. And then if William Byron finishes behind him, plus a car championship. Like a driver's championship. It would be crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about the matchups.
All right. And then we'll get some odds for you too. But first up, well, 2 guys that, need a win.
It's going to be Ross Chastain versus Kyle Busch, right?
Nailed it.
All right, great.
All right. Then 2 guys who are good at road courses.
I'm gonna go Chase Elliott versus Okay, Michael McDowell versus Ty Gibbs.
No, bigger names.
Ryan Blaney versus Chris Buescher.
Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick.
Oh,
I think that's pretty good.
No, yeah, it is. I just wouldn't have guessed that.
Okay. Then you talk about 2 guys who are fighting each other for a spot and who are not good here.
Brad K and Bubba. Good.
Boom.
Love that.
There you go. How's that?
And then please give me like AJ Allmendinger versus Justin Haley, something random.
Think about the guy who just won and the guy who's kind of always there.
Oh, Blaney versus Logano.
Blaney versus Byron.
Oh, okay.
Seems like Byron's like always the favorite.
Yeah.
So there you go. So there's your fantasy matchups. Remember, every point matters. So try to get some of those right. And then what we got for odds?
I'm signing in right now.
All right. Well, who do you think's going to win? Who's your pick?
I think Chase is going to win.
All right. I think it's
that's why I wore my 9 hat this week.
Tyler Reddick.
I mean, that'd be a story.
I think he's going to do it and move on.
All right. NASCAR, Cup Series, Bank of America, Roval. Your race.
Download your WinBet app. Use code XBNWicked. You can still get your put your $20 in, get your $100 in bets. So
your favorite at plus 600.
William Byron.
Chase Elliott,
road course. There you go.
William Byron is second at plus 650. Tyler Reddick is third at plus 700. Kyle Larson's plus 900. Michael McDowell plus 900. That's good for him.
Yeah.
AJ Allmendinger plus 1,000. Give me your boy Blaney plus 2,800, which is a crazy good bet, knowing he's won here before.
Yeah. Right.
You bet $20 and you hit that, you win $460.
That's pretty good.
That's a really good bet.
That's some good math too there, Timmy G.
Brad K plus 6,500, Bubba Wallace plus 10,000.
Yeah.
Mike Rockefeller plus 25,000. I thought it said plus 250,000. I was just like, oh my God.
I'm putting $5 on him right now.
And then wait, why did all that change? Oh, that was top 3 podium. And then at plus 100,000 is Ty Dillon.
All right.
But you could also, they've added some new
things. I was going to say, can you bet those like a horse race and like bet the top 3?
You can bet the top 3
kind of
to make the podium, and you can also do head-to-head matchups that they've added.
Okay.
Some of their head-to-head matchups is Chris Buescher versus Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch versus Martin Truex Jr., Michael McDowell versus Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick is minus 25 to finish better than Michael McDowell, and Michael McDowell is plus 105. But you can't parlay any of those.
Oh, okay. Parlays, then you're getting crazy.
That's where the money is.
Yeah. Yeah.
My friend Jeff put $50 that Chet Holmgren was going to win Rookie of the Year, Evan Mobley was going to win Defensive Player of the Year, and Jason Tatum was going to win MVP of the upcoming NBA season. And if he hits all 3 of those, he would win $245,000. on a $50 bet.
Wow.
That's why
Wow.
parlays are crazy and fun.
Yep.
But yeah. So Chase
All right.
Elliott and Tyler Reddick. Thanks for
There you
tuning in.
All right. You got it? Good.
Yep.
Okay. See you next week. Somewhere. YouTube. Find us anywhere
Yeah,
on
find us.
social medias at Wicked Fast Podcast. Give the YouTube channel a click. Find us on Instagram and at Wicked Fast PDCST on the Twitter machine or X, whatever you want to call it. And we'll see you next week. All right. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.